Hey everyone, it's Lisa Davis from Lisa Davis Body Construction. Today I want to do a review on MicroGainz. This is an addition that you can put onto the ends of your weights. I'm not sponsored or anything, I just want to review it. But anyway, you can add them to the ends of your dumbbells or barbells to add just a little bit more weight. Each one is 1 1/4 pounds and you get 4 in your box. So enough for 2 dumbbells if you wanted to put 2 on each one and add 2 1/2 pounds to your lift. They advertise at MicroGainz that they work with any weights and they just are spring loaded and you just clip them on to the end. And they say they work on anything. So I'm going to show you, I've been using them and I want to show you how they work with the different weights. I have a lot of different kinds of dumbbells, and I'll show you how each handle works with these. The thought behind it is that when you're trying to add to your lift, we know that we should add about 5% every time we want to increase the amount of weight that we're lifting. But sometimes weights don't work that way. You have 20 to 25 pounds, but you don't have 17 or 17 1/2 pounds. At least I don't know of any. So this can take you to the 5% without having to jump up too hard, too high, and possibly injure yourself. Okay, as a personal trainer, I have a lot of kinds of weights. I have smaller amounts all the way down to the heavier ones. So they all have different kinds of handles. And I have some with just a straight handle, vinyl coated. Some have kind of a rounded belly. This one's really got a rounded belly. Then, you know, we've got the metal handles. We've got some that are just straight metal, some with kind of a shape to them. That one goes in there, rounded in the middle. So I'm going to try them on the different ones and tell you how I feel about them. Okay, first we're just going to clip them on. So that's easy. Well, with 2 hands it's easy. So it kind of wants to go on this kind of handle. It kind of wants to go to that smaller part. Can you see how this part's bigger than that? I have a hard time getting it to stay on that outer side and still have room for my hand. Let me put another one on. So yes, it clips right on, but it's harder for my hand to fit. And a lot of times I'm doing high intensity interval training and I'm setting the weights down, picking them back up. And I don't have a huge hand, but that's kind of snug. I don't like it. And they don't like to stay on the outside of this weight. They will, and I'm probably picky. So this is a 20-pound weight, I believe. Yeah, it's a 20-pound weight. So that's how that would be for me. I'm 5'8". I don't have tiny hands, but I don't have huge hands, and they are skinny. I have narrow feet and hands, just for reference. Okay, let's go to this straight metal. I have a sneaking suspicion this one's good. I don't use this weight very often, but that's gonna stay there pretty well. Look at it, it doesn't try to slide. If it gets bumped, it doesn't move. I can pick it up. I can set it down. I can do all the stuff I want to. It's not going to move. That's great on that one. Okay, this weight is square shaped. I like it. Now it also has a belly on it, and the ends are not like this one. This one has kind of a thing that it can't go clear up next to the weight, but this one doesn't have that. So it just stays right there. So there's lots of room for my hand. I can pick it up, set it down. It doesn't move either. That stays right there. That's a great one. Now we have some smaller. This one's a 5-pound weight. It's got that same handle that this one had. Okay, and it's roughly the same width. I don't know if you can tell from that angle, but they're the same distance here. The handle's the same length. So if I try to clip that on, First of all, I do have 6-pound weights, so 5% of 5 pounds isn't that much. So that's fine. Doesn't seem, doesn't want to stay there too much, but I think it would stay better than on the big one. That big one just always comes down for me. Look, it did slip though. So if you have bigger hands and it slips down in, did you see how when I put my hand in there, I pushed it apart? It's not horrible because the weight's not super heavy, but I don't like it. I would have just gotten heavier weight. And now on the vinyl handle. This is an 8-pound weight. Let's clip it on there. It's hard to do it with one hand. I'm holding the camera with the other hand. So this one doesn't go on as easily because the handle's wider. It's bigger around, but it doesn't have a belly on it, so I think it's going to stay. It's still kind of snug, and I think that's because these handles aren't as long as these ones. These ones are wider. This handle is not, and it's all the way to the end as far as it'll go. So that's something to keep in mind if you're using it. This is an 8-pound weight, like I mentioned. Let's compare it to the 10-pound weight. First off, you can see that this handle is not as long as this one. So obviously that's going to give us more room. So if I wanted to put this on the 10-pound, all right, I needed 2 hands. So I still have room for my hand, but again, if you have a larger hand, that's going to be a tight fit. But it doesn't slide in. I can make it push because this is bigger around than this, but it doesn't slide in. Now I have this little guy. It's also a 5-pound weight. And this one's a 5-pound weight. Obviously, longer. This one has a round belly, but look how tight it is already with my hand. If I'm going to hold that, I don't think there's going to be room, but let's put it on. Okay, I've got it on there. It's a teeny tiny handle. My hand doesn't even fit in there. That's not going to work on a little teeny handle like that. Okay, I've got these on a 30-pound weight now. The handles are the same width as this 20-pound weight. There's a little ring around that, and the handle, whether you can see it or not, also has a bit of a belly. This one has sort of a ring there, but not really there. But remember when I showed that, it just went into this dip. On this one, it's shaped a little differently. So we'll see if it'll stay on that outside ring. And it looks like it's going to stay there. Let me pick it up. So I can easily pick it up, set it down. I set it down kind of roughly, and it didn't move. Stayed right on that ring. I actually like these a lot. I don't use them myself that often, and here's why. I do high-intensity interval training, as I mentioned. So I move from one thing to the next, and I'm using different amounts of weights because my lower body's stronger than my upper body, etc. But if I don't have a weight available in the amount that I need as I'm trying to go up, or if someone else that I'm training needs to go up 5%, these are a great option. For a home gym, it costs a lot to get a ton of different amounts of weights. So this is another great option. You can grab these and put them on the ones you have for that 5%. Buy you a little bit of time until you need to go to the next weight. Another option you'd have is to clamp both on one and use, so say you're doing an upright row, you're used to doing it with 2, but you could potentially do it with just 1, clamp 2 on there, depends on how wide your hand is. On these metal handles, they clamp right on. Okay, so now between all 4 of these, I've added 5 pounds. So now it's 35-pound weight. Overall, I think they're a great purchase. I don't remember how much I paid for them. This is not a sponsored video. It's just my own opinion. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back again soon with another review of a different piece of equipment for your gym.